Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of WNYF's Sports Hour show. I am Kevin Syracuse, joined with Anthony Flores and Aaron
Sember.
So we got a lot to cover tonight, and let's start with hockey, because your Fredonia State Blue Devils are in the SUNY Championship this Saturday against nationally ranked Geneseo. So Fredonia pulled his biggest upset of the season Saturday, a 3-1 victory over nationally ranked Oswego in the semifinals of the SUNY men's hockey tournament. Goals by freshman Josh Biasulo and sophomore Jacob Hines late in the first period were the turning point in the game, which featured another strong outing by sophomore goaltender Anton Rosen. Kyle Jelinski scored Fredonia's third goal late in the second period. Rosen finished with 33 saves following a 55 save performance in a first-round win Wednesday at Plattsburgh. He withstood a barrage of shots in the early going. He made 10 saves in the first period, including several on Oswego one-man rushes. The Blue Devils advanced to the SUNY Championship game this Saturday at Geneseo, which I already said, a nationally ranked team. The Knights defeated Buffalo State 5-2 in the other semifinal Saturday. Fredonia Athletics has obtained a block of 100 student tickets for the SUNY Men's Hockey Championship game Saturday at Geneseo.
In addition, Director of Athletics Jerry Fisk said the department will provide bus transportations for students to and from the game. Registration is underway at the Williams Center box office, and the hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily through the close of business Thursday. Cost to all students, bus riders and non-riders alike, is $10 and is payable at time of registration. The fee is non-refundable. A valid Fredonia ID card is required to register for a ticket and the bus ride. Game tickets will be distributed Saturday at the Will Call window at Geneseo's Ira S. Wilson Ice Arena, which is located inside the Myrtle A. Merritt Athletic Center. Geneseo officials plan to open Will Call at 5:30 p.m. Saturday. The bus taking students to Geneseo will leave from Dodds Hall parking lot at 4 p.m. Saturday and will return to Fredonia immediately after the game. This is exciting.
This is a really exciting thing. I already thought that Fredonia could really pull off some upsets in the playoffs because as I watched them in their regular season games, they were a really good scoring offense and they had a really good defense. And so I felt like even though they were the 5th seed, they could do really well.
Against nationally ranked.
And what rank are they nationally? Do you know at all? Or?
Going into this past weekend, Geneseo was ranked 7th and Oswego was 5th. So 2 great teams. One great team that we already beat, and hopefully we can beat the other.
And get crowned champions.
But yeah, this is great for Fredonia because they finished the regular season at 11-10-3, I believe, and they weren't too high in the seedings going into the playoffs. So to be able to advance to the championship is great.
Yeah, especially since, I mean, a lot of these big-time headliners that they talk about are young guys, freshmen and sophomores. So I don't know, but I would assume to think that the team is very young, and that's good because they'll have the team for at least 3 years. So, if the freshmen, they still have 3 more years. So that's good that they have a young team to improve on every year.
Yeah, and like you were saying with the young guys, their goalie, Anton Rosen, he's only a sophomore, and he's been great this year. I think he finished the regular season at about, I think his record was 8-3. So
wow.
we hopefully will continue being this dominant for the next couple of years here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially because of the fact that he also had like that 55 save performance. Now that's big because usually you hear about like for an NHL goalie getting about, I don't know, on average I think it's about like for a good day like about 35, and just seeing like 55 save performance, and it also says that a lot of these saves were one-man rushes, and that's big because it's just you against another guy. And
there's a lot of pressure in that moment too, like in hockey, soccer. Like if you're one-on-one, like some people will freeze up, some people will get overthinking, they'll get scared, and that will lead them to make a mistake, and then obviously the other team will capitalize on that and score. So that the fact that most of his saves were one-man rushes, that's really good that he was able to keep his composure, stay disciplined in a hot situation, and give his team a good couple saves so they can keep competing and win.
Yeah, just to look at some of the leaders for the Blue Devils statistically. Sam Wilbur is leading the team with 28 points. He has 11 goals and 17 assists, followed by Jacob Hines with 18 points, 8 goals and 10 assists. And then Victor Tracy, who has 17 points, 8 goals, 9 assists. Jimmy Morgan, who has 7 goals, 10 assists for 17 points. And Ryan Dunn, who has 16 points, 9 goals, and 7 assists. So they're getting production out of a lot of guys because they have, let's see, they have about 10 guys that have double-digit points. So that's great to see. And as we said with Rosen, he is 14-5-3 now with a .917 save percentage, and he's only allowing 2.79 goals per game. So I was wrong. I was thinking of one of the games that I broadcasted. He was 8-3, but he finished the regular season at 12-5-3, and now he's up to 14-5-3. So great to see for the Blue Devils.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So we wish them the best of luck, and I think next up is baseball. So, Anthony, would you like to talk about that?
Sure, why not? The team heads to Myrtle Beach this week for spring training. They will play in the Ripken Invitational and face John and Wales, Manchester University, and Eastern Mennonite. And for the swimming team, Fredonia's senior Bill Bradley finished second in the 200-yard butterfly on the final day of the SUNY Swimming and Diving Championship meet at the Flickinger Center on Saturday. In the finals, Bradley turned in a time of 1 minute and 56 seconds. He was second to Cooper Knapp of New Paltz, who set a new conference record of 1 minute and 49 seconds. And Bradley qualified fourth with a preliminary time of 1 minute and 57 seconds. Graham Jones was fourth in the 1,650 freestyle finals in a time of 16 minutes, 47 seconds, 80.89 whatever seconds. I'm sorry. I'm not good at math and numbers. My bad. The Devils had 4 swimmers in the consolation final Saturday night, though. So congratulations to the Devils for that. Senior Nathan Link was 16th in the 200-yard backstroke with 2 minutes and about 6 seconds. Sophomore Cameron Chris, 14th in the 100-yard freestyle with 48 minutes and .35. Wait, is it 48 seconds?
Seconds.
Yeah, whoever wrote this, they're messing it up. Anyways, 48 seconds. My bad. I'm sorry. And freshman Drew Page finished 16th in the 200-yard breaststroke, with 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And junior Noah Edison finished with 11th in the 200-yard butterfly with 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Overall, the Courtlet of Jones, Page, Chris, and Ben Chatley finished 7th in the 400-yard freestyle relay in a time of 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Noting this team's improvement, head coach Arthur Wang indicated that out of 138 performances, 88 were personal bests between the men and the women's over the weekend. The Blue Devils finished in 6th place out of 9 teams. They could have done better, but you can't do anything about it. They finished 6th, like I said, out of 9. They edged out by 5th place Buffalo State by just 3 points, unfortunately, 301 points to 298 points, giving the Bengals 2 points in the battle by the lake. Competing in her final collegiate meet, Fredonia senior Taylor, my God, what a name, Chwalinski, Polish, advanced to consolation finals in 2 events Saturday at the SUNY Swimming and Diving Championship meet. She finished 14th in the 100-yard freestyle with 55 seconds and 13th in the 200-yard butterfly with 2 minutes and 24 seconds, where she was joined by 2 teammates. Freshman Aaron Kalsman was 9th, and the best finish of the day by a Blue Devil swimmer, sophomore Maddie Miller, was 16th as well. Fredonia also had 2 divers earn points off the 3-meter board. Ashley Reinhardt finished 10th with a final score of 369, and Lydia Gogren, my God, these names, was 12th with a score of 298. Oh, man. The Devils earned a 6th place finish in the 400 free relay, and Chwalinski, Bauman, Kalsman, and Chelsea Spagel finished in a time of 3 minutes and 42 seconds. And that's about it for our Fredonia sports.
Well, it's great to see all of our teams doing so well. It seems like many athletes and teams have been doing well this year, and we continue to wish them good luck, especially the hockey
for
team
sure.
in the SUNY Championship this Saturday. And don't forget, if you want to get tickets, there's still time. So if you want to take the student bus and
Just go
to
out and
Geneseo,
support.
yeah.
Support us. Take the crowd away from Geneseo. Make it seem like it's a home game for Fredonia. Get hyped up. Get the crowd going on your side. Get the team going on your side. Hype them up. Get them ready for that game because we all know we want our team to win this championship because we do not want Geneseo to win. We want the Blue Devils to take this W.
Yeah, the last time the Blue Devils won the SUNY Championship was in 2007, so it'd be great to see them get back into the tournament.
Over 10 years, so that'd be great to see them as champions again.
Yeah, and it's not even a 2-hour trip to Geneseo, so if you're thinking about time or money or anything, it's not even 2 hours. So
For a $10 ride.
$10 ride, you can take a nap, get all hyped at the game, and come back with a W, and come back and fall asleep and maybe party if you want. Who knows? But anyways, really just hope Fredonia pulls out this win as they did by upsetting the other teams that they played this playoffs.
yeah, and
Wrap it up.
so yeah, get your tickets, and hopefully we get a good crowd going to Geneseo. So that will wrap up our first segment. We will be back in a few minutes, and we will start covering some NHL, MLB, NBA, and NFL news. Stay tuned.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no limits.
Había un libro que era muy sencillo, anuncios y solo. Describía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos, lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda poco a poco aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
25.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates, our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And thank you for tuning back in. And we are glad to have our co-producer, Joe Sierra, to join us to talk about the NHL because the
What's up,
trade
guys?
deadline was yesterday. So, hopefully, most of you are Sabres fans since we are an hour away from Fredonia. And we are
Buffalo.
yeah, we're in Fredonia, an hour away from Buffalo. And so that I think that's where we'll start. So, Joe, what do you think about the Sabres trade yesterday?
Well, they ended up trading Evander Kane, just like many people thought they would. They traded him for a conditional first and a second-round pick, and a prospect. I don't remember his name.
Danny O'Regan.
Danny O'Regan, which he did play with Jack Eichel back in Boston University, so that's kind of cool. But
and Rodriguez too.
Yep.
They're all on the same line together.
They were. But I think the trade for what, like Evander Kane, a situation with his contract situation, I think this is, I guess, the best you can get for him. And so, I mean, it sucks trading away a valuable player like Evander Kane, but it had to be done. He wasn't going to re-sign with us anyways. So.
Yeah, the reason it's a conditional first-round pick for next year is because if Evander Kane decides to re-sign with the Sharks, then we will get their 2019 first-round pick. But if he decides to walk and sign with another team, then it turns into a second-round pick.
Yeah,
so
which kind of sucks. But
yeah, a lot of Sabres fans were mad about that because
I was mad about it too. But I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, you're really not going to get that much for Evander Kane just because of his contract situation. Even the Sharks said that they don't plan on re-signing Evander Kane. So it does end up being a rental. So.
Yeah, and given his off-ice issues, a lot of teams didn't want to give. They didn't want to give up too much to get Kane. But the thing is, with the reason why a lot of Sabres fans are mad is because if you take a look at the Rick Nash trade,
the other trades,
a 33-year-old who went from the Rangers to the Bruins,
and Boston.
Yeah, Boston gave up a ton to get Nash, and a lot of Sabres fans figured that the Sabres should have gotten just as much for a guy who is just as good, if not better, and 7 years younger.
Yeah, but I think Rick Nash, his contract situation is a little bit better than Evander Kane. I think Rick Nash does have a couple more years left. So, I mean, that's what they're looking for, too. Like, they're looking for, players that will be there for a while rather than just a guy who might end up leaving at the end of the year. So, I mean, that you have to look at it that way, too. And, Boston getting Rick Nash, I mean, they're at the top of the conference, and they're looking to make a run for the Cup. So, you got to do what you got to do to get the players you want.
Yeah, and another reason why Sabres fans are mad was because that was our only trade of the day.
Yeah.
We were waiting for more trades, and just nothing went through, and the Kane trade was the only one of the day. So
yeah, Robin Lehner actually wanted to get traded. He informed the Sabres that he would like to be traded, but no deal was done.
Today he turned that down. He said it's fake news.
He did.
So who knows? But yeah, he was one of the guys who was expected to get traded. And then Josh Georges, the guy with an expiring contract, was another one. And in the end, they're all still on the Sabres.
Yeah. I think a lot of fans I think they're disappointed just because of how disappointing our season has been. We were expected to be better than we are. I mean, we're at the bottom of the league, and we've been there forever. And, it would be a different situation if we were actually good. I bet you, like, Evander Kane, he would have been probably still on the team. But, he wants too much money, and we're not good enough. So you just want to put him in a winning situation. And I'm not saying that San Jose is really that good, because they're not. But it is a better situation than Buffalo.
Yeah, and he said he's thrilled to be there.
Yeah.
But it just makes me a little curious as to why, we couldn't. I was listening to Jason Botterill, the Sabres GM, his press conference yesterday, and he was saying that there were just no good offers, or he didn't receive like any offers, or I think it was something like that for any of the other guys. So it just makes me wonder, why didn't any other GMs want to, take a chance on these guys?
Yeah.
Maybe they felt like they weren't good enough to, give up a prospect or a draft pick for. So in the end,
yeah, it's probably what you were gonna end up getting for Evander Kane. But some other trades, other very interesting trades that happened yesterday at the deadline.
Yeah, I think the biggest one was the Rangers. After dealing Rick Nash to the Bruins, they sent Ryan McDonough and JT Miller to Tampa Bay for a 2018 first-round pick, a conditional 2019 second-round pick, forward Brett Howden, defenseman Libor Hajek, and forward Vladislav Namstikov.
And that's a lot.
So
That's
they
a
got
lot.
a haul for those guys.
That's true. I can't believe I did not expect Ryan McDonough to get traded because he's their captain.
Yeah, that was a little.
I didn't expect JT Miller to get traded either. And those are two very good players for the Rangers. And you know, Tampa's another team at the top. You know, they're the top of the league.
They just keep getting better and better.
Yeah, they're looking to make a cup run, and I would say that they're the favorites to, you know, come out on top. And you know, it sucks for the Rangers. You know, I kind of have a soft spot for the Rangers. I've always liked the Rangers, and you know, it's sad to see these guys go. I was a big Rick Nash fan and stuff, but you know, another trade that I was looking at was Thomas Tatar getting traded to the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, they gave up 3 draft picks for him, right? Wasn't it a first, second, and third round?
Yeah, and it was.
They're going for it this year too.
Yeah, they're a good team, and no one expected them to be that good. And you know, Thomas Tatar, he's a great player, and he's gonna help them tremendously on offense. And you know, I don't know if it's beginner's luck or whatever it is, but you know, Vegas, they're at the top of the league too, and it's nice to see them winning, and it'd be interesting to see them in the playoffs.
Yeah, and going back to the Rangers trade with McDonough, I think that was another trade where Sabres fans were kind of agitated because they figured, you know, they got a haul for Rick Nash and they got a ton in return for McDonough and JT Miller.
Yeah.
And, you know, shout out to the Rangers GM. He picked up
he picked up some
a
great
ton
assets.
of draft picks, a lot of prospects. And I think that's what the Sabres fans were
looking
that's
for.
what they wanted to see from our first-year GM. But in the end, we only got the 2 conditional draft picks and Danny O'Regan.
Yeah, I think, you know, GM Bottrell, or however you pronounce it. Botterill. He, you know, he is a first-year GM, and so I think he's just trying to, you know, get the team situated for, you know, the years coming up, you know. And Jack Eichel, he's hurt at the moment, but, you know, the team does revolve around him. You know, you want to build around your star player, and you just, I don't know, Botterill, I think he was a little scared to make some moves. That's just my opinion. But, you know, we'll want to see what he does in the offseason and the draft, too. We still have some good guys coming up, like Casey Middlestat. You know,
Alex Nylander.
Nylander, he's okay, but Casey Middlestat's a stud. He's
Middle
a stud.
stud.
Yeah, middle stud. He's going to be very good. I can't wait to see him next year.
Yeah, Botterill also said that over the summer is when they're going to make a lot of changes. So hopefully we will see some more trades and a lot of free agent signings as he tries to rebuild this team, who is looking at their 7th year in a row of missing the postseason.
Yeah, it is sad. You know, we're kind of in a dumpster fire, if you would say, dumpster fire of a franchise. But, you know, we are rebuilding. We've been rebuilding forever now, it feels. And I think Sabres fans are just getting agitated on, you know, our situation. But, you know, we got to give these guys more time to develop. I think Sabres fans, they just want to be good now, and they can't take time to, you know, trust the process, as cliche as that sounds. But, yeah, I'm still excited for the Sabres. You know, I think they will end up being good in the end. And, you know, you just got to give it time.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with why it's taken so long is because as much as I liked the trades where we got Leonard and Kane and Bogosian and O'Reilly from the Avalanche, I feel like we were acting
too fast.
It was 2015. We were acting almost as buyers. We gave up a lot of prospects and draft picks to get those guys when we weren't even that good yet. And we were trying to do it a little too fast. And then in the end, I mean, now Kane's gone, and Bogosian's always hurt. So now we gave up Tyler Myers, Drew Stafford,
Brendan Lemieux, Joel Armia,
and 2 first-round picks, and it just kind of makes me wonder, you know, maybe we should have taken a different approach to the rebuild a few years ago.
Yeah, that was
now,
Tim Murray.
Yeah.
But I still like our situation. You know, I love Ryan O'Reilly. I think he's great. He you know, he's still young too. What is he? 24, 25 years old.
He's about 26.
Oh, is he?
Something around that. I'll check.
But you know, he's still young too. He's a great leader. You know, he's gonna help Jack Eichel tremendously. You know, we still are young, and I feel like some of the moves that we made do seem kind of ridiculous now. But he's just I kind of lost my train of thought because Anthony's making me mad. But Tim Murray, he kind of screwed us up, but he kind of did put us in a good situation in the end.
Yeah, and O'Reilly has just turned 27, so happy belated birthday to him.
So I'm going to talk for the last part of the segment, and I realized that the Buffalo franchises, as we've known with the Bills and all, very diehard fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that you guys have been in the slump for 7 or so odd years, as you guys are saying,
it's just frustrating.
It feeds more frustration. Yes, you're right.
Especially after waiting 17 years for the Bills.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
we're waiting 7 years for the Sabres, and it just gets pretty frustrating after a while. But hopefully the Sabres can end their drought before the Bills did. So.
Yeah.
But were you saying something else?
That's all I have.
Oh.
I don't know much about hockey. That's why I kept my mouth shut.
Well, speaking of the Bills, we will be getting back to them as we return from our break. Big free agent signing and another free agent that recently visited with us. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss this.
Peace out, guys.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos, lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda poco a poco aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates, our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can intervene.
It's on us.
All of us. Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. So the big news for you Bills fans that I was talking about before the break is that we have signed Vontae Davis, a free agent who last played with the Colts, a 9-year veteran. And we signed him to a 1-year, $5 million deal. And the news came out last night after he visited with 4 teams, the Bills, the Browns, the 49ers, and the Raiders. And he tweeted out that he was going to take some time to go home and reflect and think with his family about what his best option is. And luckily, he chose the Bills. He tweeted that out last night. He said, #BillsMafia. And then the details came out today. It's a 1-year, $5 million deal with $3.5 million guaranteed, and he can get up to $8 million based on how much and how well he plays. So what do you guys think about this deal for the Bills?
If I'm correct, he's a
cornerback.
He is a cornerback. That's what
And
I
he was
thought.
one of the only few players that were good on the Colts.
On the Colts, yeah.
So that's a big loss for the Colts and a good pickup for the Bills.
I feel like the thing is, he's a good find for a secondary, and I feel like.
And he's a veteran player too.
Yeah.
So that brings some veteran leadership to that team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even more than what they already have.
Yeah, now our, well, you guys aren't Bills fans, but.
I know of the Bills, so I follow the Bills.
I know a bit of the Bills.
I follow the Bills.
Okay, so I'll still say our. Our secondary is pretty stacked now with Tre'Davious White and Vontae Davis as the cornerbacks, and then Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer as our safeties. We got a strong secondary, but now we got to build up our front seven. But I like to start with our secondary.
Well, the thing is, let me start. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The thing is about Tre'Davious White, he's a very good talent. Very, very good talent. I saw him, I think it was against Cincinnati earlier, like obviously during the regular season. And I know it was against A.J. Green. He was against A.J. Green the whole day, but I feel like he can get burnt very easily. I feel like I would say could get his mind off.
I think you're struggling because you don't know what to say because he's a rookie. And he played out of his mind for a rookie where he was.
He did. He was very good.
He could have possibly been a defensive rookie of the year, only upstaged by Marshawn Lattimore of the Saints. Tre'Davious White was an animal, and he was a late first-round pick, and he was a phenomenal pick.
I'm not saying
I'm just
bad.
I'm just saying you're saying you feel like he's easy. You don't even know how to. I feel like you don't know what to say because it's hard for you to process. But he's a rookie. Everyone gets burnt. The best get burnt once in a while. And I'm not saying he's the best, but I'm saying he was one of the best defensive rookies in that draft class from the last season. And he showed that. Obviously, he's going to get burnt. Everyone's going to get burnt. You're going to have Richard Sherman get burnt once in a while. You're going to have him get burnt. You're going to get Marshawn Lattimore burnt. You're going to see Marcus Peters get burnt, which you did sometimes. And now he's with the Rams.
And that's why, I was actually going to compare Peters to White.
Well, I feel like White is not specifically like Peters. He can be a star like Peters, but he's not. He doesn't have the on-field issues and the attitude like Peters. So that's a plus for the Bills. But I'm just saying, with Tre'Davious White, he's going to get burnt. And now Vontae Davis, he could possibly help him. Obviously he's a great player as it is right now, and he's going to develop into a possible star. Tre'Davious White now has Vontae Davis, who's a great player himself, can also help him pick up those little things about his game. They're okay, I can do this. I can prevent getting burnt more often than I did last season, even though he didn't really get burnt as much as you might think, or was trying to say, or possibly accidentally said. But that's really good. Like I said, veteran leadership and a great 2 cornerbacks and then 2 great safeties. And right now, that secondary for the Bills is going to look very scary next season. And as you said, we can go back to the front 7 that the Bills need to work on.
Yeah, well, just another thing about the secondary. I think this means now that E.J. Gaines' time is done with the Bills because I think
wasn't he traded from the Rams?
Yeah,
for
he was part
Sammy
of the
Watkins trade.
Yeah, he was part of the Sammy Watkins trade. The Bills were 8-3 when he was on the field this year. So and he played great. So he was obviously a huge part to our success this year. but I think the Bills were thinking that he is just well, first of all, he was injury prone. 8-3. That's because he missed a good amount of games. And then the other reason is when he was on the field, he was one of the top corners, I would say.
Last season?
Yeah. And
I mean, I wouldn't say, like, the Bills, I don't think his time will be done. I just feel like that's just more for the rotation. Like, you're going to have depth at the cornerback position. So, like, when Tre'Davious White gets tired or, like, they decide, oh, he needs a little break, or if Vontae Davis needs a little break, they'll just throw in E.J. Gaines. Or they'll switch up the starting cornerbacks. Like, they don't have to have Tre'Davious White and Vontae Davis start each game. They could switch up the rotation, mix it up against different teams, see how that works out. And then maybe if they do feel like his time is up, maybe they could trade him, get something good out of him.
well, the reason I said his time is up is he's a free agent now.
Oh, he is?
Yeah,
My bad.
and
But if he decides to stay with the Bills, like, that would be a good, like, positioning for, like, rotation and everything with the depth at the cornerback position. They could just switch up that with different teams and everything. It would be really good. Great 3 players at the cornerback position.
Except I don't think he will be a Buffalo Bill anymore.
Probably not.
Because now with Davis, you assume
Mhm.
he's our starting cornerback.
Yeah.
And I heard there's reports that Gaines could be asking $8 or $9 million a year. And I think the Bills have $29 million in cap space, so
So they're going to have to look up for different positions on the field. I mean, that's unfortunate because, like I said, it would have been really nice to see that in the rotation, just switch it up. But they can use that money that they have saved up without him to obviously build the front seven or even give him, Tyrod Taylor a better wide receiver.
Yeah. And I think they figured they could get a just as good, if not better, cornerback for a much cheaper price. Because, like I said, I wouldn't say we're struggling with our money situation, but we definitely don't have a lot to play around with. But speaking of money and other free agents, Chris Ivory was in town today for a visit with the Bills. And if we can sign him, that would be a great addition for him to back up LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, from what I know about Chris Ivory, because he used to be on the Jets, and back home there would always be Jets games when I would watch because there'd be nothing else. So I remember him more of a power running back, which is good because of the fact that if LaShawn McCoy is going to be that speedy, maneuvering guy, and then Ivory can come in as the punch guy, it would be it's a nice mix. And I feel like Chris Ivory can fit that run game, and I feel like if the Bills would like something, Chris Ivory would be probably a good gift or anything.
And he's also a pretty durable player. So, like, as we know, Shady with his ankle injuries, his leg injuries, and stuff like that. Sorry. If he does get injured, you'll have at least a reliable running back in Chris Ivory to keep the running game in place and possibly, help on the offensive end.
Yeah, we know he has some experience as a starter. I think in New York he did start. So
and he started a couple times in Jacksonville before Leonard Fournette got drafted by them.
Yeah, so
in the first year he was battling with T.J. Yeldon. They were kind of splitting time in the backfield. And then last year it was all Fournette.
Yeah, but we know that he has a starter background. So if anything were to go wrong with McCoy, I feel like he could be a good fit as a starter.
Yeah, he's a reliable player. Yeah. He'd be good.
Yeah, a couple of his best years came with the Jets. 2013, or actually all 3 years he was with the Jets. From 2010 to 2012 he was with the Saints. And then 2013, 14, and 15 he was with the Jets. And then the last 2 years he was been with the Jaguars. But his best years came when he was with the Jets. In 2013, he rushed for 833 yards. 2014, he rushed for 821 yards. And then in 2015, he rushed for 1,070 yards. So he's definitely capable. And I think even though he is 30 years, well, he's about to be 30 in just less than a month here. But if he's a backup to LaShawn McCoy, I think that'd be a great 1-2 punch because, I mean, McCoy, he takes a lot of wear and tear. He runs. He's a grinder.
Honestly,
he doesn't want to come out of the game.
I'd
but
say
for Ivory,
like McCoy is honestly like the offensive face of the Bills right now. So like obviously like he's gonna be he's the workhorse. He's overworked honestly, and that's good. Like if they have Chris Ivory, maybe they can give McCoy some break with his speed, running back style, and they'll have, like you said, Ivory with the punch, the hard running back, the power back. So that'll be good just to switch it up.
Yeah, and it'll be good for Ivory too because, like I said, he'll be 30 when the season starts, and it's not like he's going to take a lot of wear and tear. And even though McCoy usually does, he's like you said, he's the face of our offense. It'll be good to have a reliable back when he does need a break or if he does get hurt. But I think this would be a great addition for the Bills, especially because when we lost Mike Gillislee due to free agency last year, we didn't really have a, like that 1-2 punch that we did with McCoy and Gillislee. I mean, we had Mike Tolbert, but
Mike Tolbert's our fullback though, but he's good, but he's limited to what he can do, honestly.
And he's pretty old too, so I think this would be a great pickup for the Bills.
That's if he decides to sign with them, though. That's but hopefully he does.
A big if, yeah. He was also visiting the Browns today.
Well, I mean, if I'm picking the Browns or the Bills, I'm picking the Bills.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Browns is where your career goes to die. This isn't Madden. This isn't Madden.
And also, another thing with the Bills is that they came out with a report just a few days ago that said they're not going to cut Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I saw that, actually. So I feel like that's a good thing.
His $6 million roster bonus.
I feel like that's a good thing because, I mean, Tyrod's not a bad player. No matter how many times people say, oh, he holds the ball too long, he runs too much, he doesn't make enough good plays. Well, I mean, you got to look at the O-line. They're not giving him the time in the pocket that he needs. That's why he used his legs so much last season. Sorry. And if you give some money and put in free agency or the draft and get some offensive linemen, that'll be good for Tyrod. Tyrod can stay in the pocket, do his thing, and he can use his legs when he has to, not overly much as he did like last season. So therefore, use that money, get some old linemen, maybe draft a receiver or some other old linemen. Now there's some other players on the defensive end, and you can have yourself a really solid team and another chance at the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the two reasons that they signed him, or they decided not to cut him, is because they want someone reliable in case they do draft a quarterback. They want someone who is experienced and who can help their rookie quarterback grow if he's not ready.
And if he is indeed struggling, they'll have that rookie. They can see what the rookie does, like they did with Nathan Peterman. Like when Tyrod was struggling, they put Peterman in.
Yeah.
Peterman obviously was tragic, but if you draft a really great rookie quarterback and Tyrod's struggling, you throw him in, and if that rookie struggles for his first couple games, you just throw Tyrod back in, let him show that he's a leader, he's a veteran of the team. He's going to change his ways and pick it up.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens as we approach the draft here and with free agency. But that'll take us to our next break, and tune in for our next and final segment as we cover the NBA and the MLB.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos, lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda poco a poco aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates, our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us. Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And welcome back for our final segment. We are happy to have Joe join us again.
What's up?
And we will start this by doing a quick roundup of some MLB news and then follow it up and finish with the NBA news. So just real quick, from the last time we had our show, the Orioles signed Colby Rasmus to a minor league contract.
A minor league?
Minor league contract.
Wow.
The Tampa Bay Rays traded Corey Dickerson to the Pittsburgh Pirates for Daniel Hudson, Tristan Gray, and Cash. And I think that's a great move for them because they needed another outfielder with McCutchen in San Francisco now. The Pirates also got Bryce Brentz, an outfielder from the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Pirates are kind of in a rebuild mode.
Yeah.
After giving away all their guys. You know, Pirates are going to be bad, but
yeah.
You know, who really cares?
The Twins signed Eric Ibar to another minor league contract and Logan Morrison to a major league contract. The Yankees named Alex Rodriguez and Nick Swisher special advisors.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The Mets signed A.J. Griffin to a minor league contract. The Reds signed Ben Revere to a minor league contract. And the Orioles signed Pedro Alvarez, re-signed Alvarez to a minor league contract. So not too big of news from last week.
But spring training did start, and you know all the guys are looking good. Like the Yankees, the Yankees are going to be
Stanton and Judge.
Russell Wilson for the
unreal
MVP this season.
Yeah, and the Yankees got Russell Wilson too.
Yeah, he's been practicing with them. You know, it's cool to see a guy like that, you know, come train with the Yankees. Obviously, he's not going to play for them, but
yeah,
you know, it's cool just to get that experience, and it's just amazing how much of an unreal athlete he really is.
Yeah, and I think the bigger news from this past week in the MLB is all the guys who are still free agents as we're into the second week of spring training. We have from like the players, the position players, we have Neil Walker, J.J. Hardy, Mike Moustakas, Jason Worth, John Jay, Carlos Gonzalez, Jonathan Lucroy, Melky Cabrera, and that's just to name a few.
Moustakas is still pretty good. I remember him on the Royals. He is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten picked up yet. Maybe he's just asking for too much money.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like he'd be a great, you know, depth player to any organization. You know,
I think he could be a star. He will be a starter.
He could be a starter, yeah.
So, I heard the Yankees wanted him, but now the Yankees got Brandon Drury. Actually, I think they got Drury right when we finished our last show last Tuesday. So that was another transaction that happened. The Yankees got Brandon Drury, who's going to play third base for them. So it looks like they are out on the Moustakas sweepstakes.
Yeah, I think you know, this still is a quiet time for the MLB. You know, everyone's just trying to get their stuff together, and you know, teams are just looking to, you know, get better. They don't really need to make any moves now. Just grow as a team.
And then for the all unemployed pitching staff, it's Jake Arrieta, Lance Lynn, Alex Cobb, John Lackey, and Jeremy Hellickson for the starters. And then for the bullpen, we have Greg Holland, Tyler Clippard, Houston Street, Jason Grilly, Koji Uehara, Josh Colmenter, Trevor Cahill, and Eric O'Flaherty. So a lot of guys who are still unsigned.
Arrieta's still a free agent?
Yeah, he's another big name free agent.
Arrieta is still a top guy in this league, and I'm surprised no one wants him. Like maybe like Moustakas. He's just asking for too much money, I feel, and I don't think teams are willing to pay him that.
Yeah, and one last thing about the MLB. Just a couple hours ago, Tim Lincecum signed a contract with the Texas Rangers.
Really?
So, yeah,
That's
good to see him back in the league.
So.
And now switching over to the NBA, Anthony, you have some NBA news that you wanted to talk
Well,
about?
there's a ton of NBA news right now. Let me just start off with Anthony Davis. Last 6 games, he's averaging 45
guy's been
points
a
per
monster.
game, and he's averaging about 15 rebounds. That man is an animal.
He's a monster.
And he's had to step up so much since the Boogie injury, and it sucks that
I think he
Boogie-
likes playing without Boogie.
I don't know. I mean, him and Boogie together were just legit, honestly, one of the best front courts in the league, if not the best front court in the league.
They are unstoppable when healthy.
Exactly.
And
And like
New Orleans is just, they're in a sticky situation,
with the injury and everything, and not knowing if DeMarcus is going to stay or not.
No, to be honest, I think he will stay.
I would like to see him stay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna, look around for his options on where to sign. But at the end of the day, I think he's gonna realize that New Orleans is the best spot for him, probably.
I really do hope Boogie does stay with the Pelicans because obviously him and Davis are a great tandem. And like if he decides if they work out the contracts and Boogie doesn't ask for a max contract, like something crazy, like over $200 million or something like that, they can use the money to get what they need, which is honestly someone on the wings. They have no wings.
You're exactly right.
The story right now, honestly, is Anthony Davis. Like he's been balling out of his mind
He
lately.
is a monster.
And he's with defensives, with his steals, his blocks, his rebounds, sometimes of his assists, his scoring especially. And he's honestly an MVP candidate in my mind.
He is.
Regardless if they're the 8th seed or not, he's MVP candidate.
He has been, showing up. He's been stepping up. He's doing, whatever he can to help his team win. And like these past games, that he's just been a monster. New Orleans has been winning, and that's what you need. And you could put up all these numbers and stuff, but if your team's not winning, it doesn't matter. And that's where that's a big thing about me with the MVP. Like I feel like you can put up all these crazy numbers, like Russell Westbrook. Take him for example. Yeah, he did average a triple-double, but at the end of the day, his team did finish as a 6th seed.
Yeah, but honestly,
they got knocked out in the first round. The numbers, it's unbelievable.
But honestly, it's when you look at what elevates their team, and without like last season, without Russell Westbrook, the Thunder would have been a bottom of the barrel team of the NBA.
Yeah, and
so that's why I'm saying like Anthony Davis is an MVP candidate, regardless if the Pelicans are 8th seed and possibly could lose their positioning in the playoffs to the Clippers, who are just right there with them.
Yeah, and I do understand that too, but you look at other guys. Take James Harden for example.
Oh, no doubt, he's also MVP. He's a top 2 MVP candidate in my mind.
He's got. He does have Chris Paul, but
still, he was balling like this last season without Chris
and
Paul.
I feel like he deserved it so much. So much more than Westbrook.
Personally, I say Westbrook deserved it last season, but personally, I say James Harden has a great case of getting the MVP this season.
I think if he doesn't get the MVP this season, it's ridiculous. He should be at least a 2-time MVP in my eyes.
And switching to James Harden, that man has been balling out as he is. Honestly, I saw a report where it said he was honestly considered by some people the best isolation player in NBA history.
I think he is the best guard in the league.
I think he's the best shooting guard.
I think he's the best point guard or shooting guard.
I don't say
he showed it. He showed it last year playing the point guard position. I think he was a better point guard than Russell Westbrook. I think he's a better point guard than Steph Curry. And then you switch him back to the shooting guard, he's just as good. James Harden, he gets hate on a lot.
I don't hate on him at all. I think
some people do.
The only thing I don't like about James Harden is like when he is in the playoffs, if he's down, if he's losing, he doesn't step up. He gives up. He gives up. That's what he did.
And now that's where you bring in Chris Paul. A lot of people think that Chris Paul is a choker. He's not a choker.
Chris Paul is the best pure point guard in the NBA right now.
Yeah. And you pair him up with James Harden, they're unstoppable. And
I remember
a lot of people didn't think they were going to work.
I remember, last semester we were talking about how a lot of people, and even us, were skeptical about how they're going to work together. And they've shown that they are legit one of the best duos in the NBA right now. The Rockets are on a 12-game winning streak after just beating the Nuggets, who were on a winning streak themselves, backed by Nikola Jokic, who was just balling out with triple-doubles, like a streak of consecutive triple-doubles.
Yeah.
So this team itself, the Rockets, just full of great shooters, full of great leadership, and full of stars.
And that's another reason why I don't really, like Russell Westbrook. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the best players in the league, and he's so dynamic. He's so good to watch. But he doesn't play good with other superstars. You give him Paul George, and I'm not saying Carmelo Anthony is a superstar. He was a superstar back in the day, but you give him two great players, and they're still not figuring it out.
I mean, actually, the Thunder, since the midseason, they've
stepping
turned it
it up.
around. They're actually pretty much balling out right now. Like this L they took to the Warriors, this really bad L they took to the Warriors was the first. Like the whole season, for example, they were killing the Warriors every time they play them. Melo was doing his thing. I think honestly, Melo doesn't really fit there as much as some people want to think or hope to. But I feel like him and Paul George are really good together themselves. When they are playing good, they play great. And Westbrook can still get multiple triple doubles even with this team, and he doesn't have to score as much. And he can have Paul George score a lot, and they're great together on defense. Paul George and Russell Westbrook
both leading in steals.
Well, Westbrook's fifth and Paul George is first, so that's phenomenal. They're really good together.
Yeah,
I think they're really good.
But like I said, I don't see them.
And I think they're about fourth or fifth in the playoff standings right now.
I don't see them getting past the second round in the West. That's just my opinion.
I think it'll be the Warriors and the Rockets in the conference finals, and maybe even the Timberwolves. Honestly, I like the Spurs. I'm a Kawhi fan and I'm a Greg Popovich fan, but I also saw a report that they believe Kawhi's season's over because they're not playing Kawhi. His injury was misdiagnosed from last season, and it's actually, I think, a quad injury, and it's still looking to get healed up, and Kawhi might not play the rest of the season. So the Spurs, honestly, they'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to win in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. And it's just, the West is so much better than the East. The East has been improving a lot.
And with this last 2 seasons, with all the trades going on, with Blake going to the Pistons now, we're going to see how that goes. Kyrie still staying in the East, going to Boston. Gordon Hayward going to Boston. The Heat starting to rise up with their young core players.
Goran Dragic, he's still...
Andre Drummond stepping up with on scoring and rebounding.
Embiid with Philadelphia.
Embiid, Ben Simmons, and stuff like that.
I think the West. I think the West is the dominant conference at the moment, but I feel like the East is,
The East will be the future because they have honestly the most young star potential.
And then once LeBron leaves. Because he may not leave the Cavs, but he has to retire at some point.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna be completely devastating because the league is gonna be completely different.
It's gonna be a whole different story, and I'm looking forward to that. I loved all the moves that happened in the off season last year, and some trade deadline moves. I mean, they weren't that big, but the playoffs are gonna be exciting, and I'm just at the end of the day, it is probably gonna be Warriors and Cavs again.
I don't think it'll be the Cavs.
You don't think it's going to be the Cavs?
I don't think so either.
I feel like Boston, or even if Toronto somehow pulls off an upset, because Toronto leads the East right now. Toronto could really do something.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is LeBron James.
Yeah, that's true, and he's
going to do whatever it takes.
He's a whole new person in the playoffs, but
Well, we will see as time goes on, and we will see you next week, next Tuesday, for our third show on WNYF TV. Thanks again. I'm Kevin, joined by Joe and Anthony. We will see you next week.